Coming up, a federal judge in Springfield hands down a 20-year sentence to a former Joplin middle school teacher. And Kevin Strickland is released from prison after more than 40 years. Also, look out, Macy's Neosho 3rd and 4th grade team up for their own Thanksgiving parade.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Buck. We'll get to those stories in just a moment. But first, let's go to Michael Hayslip in the KOAM Weather Center.
No, it is the kitchen center this morning.
Yeah, nice apron there. Like that.
Okay, so, sorry, I'm sauteing as I work. Multitask. I did this for you because I knew you'd make fun of it.
I'm not making fun of it. I appreciate it.
Well, I want to show you that I have equal respect for the sunflower state and you as well.
Okay.
Look.
We'll take it.
I'm sure as heck not, it wasn't right there, it's 5 a.m. Woo! Sure as heck not wearing like a Jayhawk.
Why would they make a two-sided apron with Mizzou and KU on the other side? No way. Nah. That would be...
More for you.
That would be a kitchen divided. Sorry.
That was good. That's good. I enjoyed that.
I grew up in a house divided.
No, the kitchen divided is you on one side grabbing stuff from the spice rack, me in the middle at the oven, and Carrie on this side washing a dish. And I'm stuck in the middle going, where in the world am I going to go? Yeah, that was what that was. All right. Anyway, folks, coming up a little bit later, everybody here at the station has prepared a recipe of some sort or type for our Thanksgiving meal. It's Tanya's brainchild. She does a wonderful job with it. Tanya's a marvelous cook. And the other thing that she also encourages us to do is share our recipes with you, the audience. So Tanya, I want to thank you for putting this together each and every year. And so honestly, folks, our countdown is on until 8:30 because that's when the vultures in the shipping container want to eat. Other than that,
he says that with love, guys.
Right. Tanya and I are going to read a lot and talk a lot, and the shipping container is just like, yeah, calm down up there. I can hear you. All right, 54 degrees is where we stand in Joplin right now. It is windy. Look at that latest gust recorded at 41 miles per hour. But since it works in from the south, temperatures right now in the mid-50s. Winds is not going to die down until we get really into this afternoon. And speaking of this afternoon, what it will bring is number one, a little additional cloud cover, but still great temperatures. And remember, when we roll into tonight, it's going to be about in between 8 and 9 o'clock when it begins to increase. But really, look at this. We're done by Thanksgiving morning. That's it. Now, Thanksgiving is going to be chilly. But I'm telling you, travel-wise, this is just hard to beat. It's going to be absolutely perfect if you have to be out and about on the road, whether it be locally, whether it be regionally. And Tanya, if you got to travel to an airport today, this weekend, we're sitting pretty. And what did you tell me yesterday? 80% increase in travel?
Yeah, a huge increase. And we'll talk more about that this morning, too.
Let's do that. I'll talk a little bit about Bronte is going to talk gas prices. I'm going to bring it up as well.
All right, sounds great. And you're making a turkey, and I'm making a butterscotch pumpkin cake.
I got stuff I got to do. I got stuffing I got to do. See what I did there?
That was nice.
Get that stuffing.
All right, moving along. A former Joplin middle school teacher will spend 20 years in prison for enticing a minor to engage in sex. Federal judge in Springfield handed down Amanda Schweitzer's sentence yesterday. Those 20 years will be served without the possibility of parole and will be followed by 15 years of supervised release. The 13-year-old victim, who was a student of Schweitzer, reported Schweitzer sent nude photos of herself to the victim and had sex with the victim on at least 2 occasions. Holiday travelers who opt to hit the road will face high prices at the pump. The national average for gasoline right now is $3.40. That's $3 more than a month ago and $1.29 more than a year ago, 81 cents more than in 2019. In our area, the average price is a bit lower. In Missouri, it's $3.12 a gallon, and it's $3.05 in Kansas and $2.96 in Oklahoma. The White House hopes to help lower the price of gas. President Biden announced the release of 50 million barrels of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. The White House release says it's part of a group effort involving China, India, Japan, South Korea, and the United Kingdom. And that's because the price of oil is determined on a global market and is based on supply and demand. Supply is largely determined by output decided on by the OPEC cartel, which is made up primarily of Middle Eastern oil-producing nations. The coordinated release of oil is an attempt to undermine OPEC's control of the market. At the height of the pandemic last year, oil traded below zero as producers struggled to find locations to store the oil they had extracted. In recent weeks, the price of fuel and inflation have become a hot-button topic for the Biden administration. In other news, Kevin Strickland has been behind bars for more than 40 years, but on Tuesday, the 62-year-old who maintained his innocence for the duration of his time in prison is free. A Missouri judge ruled Strickland was wrongfully convicted for 3 murders. Jackson County prosecutor Gene Peters Baker and other legal political leaders worked to free Strickland because they said evidence used to convict him had been recanted or disproven since his conviction in 1979.
I have changed. I'm not necessarily angry. It's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, I think I've created some emotions that you all don't know about just yet. I'm gonna have to put a name on them. I've interacted a bunch: happy, joy, sorrow, fear. You know, all those. I'm trying to figure out how to put them together. But yeah, I think I've created a couple that y'all don't know about yet.
Attorney General Eric Schmidt fought Strickland's release, saying he believes Strickland is guilty. Strickland was convicted in the April 25, 1978 deaths of 21-year-old Larry Ingram, 20-year-old John Walker, and 22-year-old Sherry Black. While many businesses are having trouble finding new employees right now, it's a problem some local law enforcement agencies have been battling for years. Jasper County Sheriff's Office faces recruitment issues, and with the construction of the new jail, they're in need of even more staff. The Joplin Police Department is down 13 officers right now. Captain Will Davis with the JPD says they've got an incentive plan in place. For a while, that's helped with some recruitment.
We will hire a person on and send them to the academy, and we'll pay for those academy costs, whereas any other individual may have to pay that out of pocket if they send themselves to the academy.
Both Joplin and Jasper County are searching for officers and deputies. If you're interested in a law enforcement career, you can reach out to either agency to get more information. City of Carthage is considering whether to ask voters to approve funds for a new performing arts center. Officials say the current performing arts center, which is attached to the 6th grade center, is no longer adequate for the school district or community to use. If approved, the new center would be attached to the high school, but before voters can decide, the school board has a decision to make.
The one we're in right now is old. It was built in 1987. Some of the items we need, we can't replace here. It's too small for any type of true high school performances. Since we were in this building, we've grown 300-400 kids just in the high school levels.
School district is also deciding what to do with the Powers Museum. The building was donated to the district, and right now the district is considering making it an alternative learning center. Well, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade might get all the headlines, but this one in Neosho is pretty special itself. Neosho 3rd and 4th graders teamed up to make the parade happen. 3rd graders made balloons and 4th graders made floats. Then both classes got to dole out candy to the younger kiddos.
So our 3rd graders make balloons and our 4th graders make floats. And so then we, parade around, throw candy to our younger students and just put them in the holiday spirit.
Organizers say the parade gives some lessons in STEM activities. Also at South Elementary in Neosho, students have been hard at work raising money for other area kids. Tiffany Fanny's kindergarten class set a goal to raise $700 for the Shop with a Hero program. Well, they surpassed that goal, hitting more than $1,000.
Well, our character word this month is teamwork and cooperation, and just the fact that we all work together and raise that money and the fact that they had the goals and they kept raising it for themselves was just a true experience for them to show their character as a South school. So.
Shop with a Hero program pairs kids with area first responders to shop for holiday gifts. It's 5:07.
Have you seen this coffee cup that I got?
That's cool. Is that yours?
Well, it is now. Somebody gave it to me.
Oh, sweet. I like it.
This thing holds like 24 ounces.
Can you drink the coffee before it gets cold?
This dude?
I know. That I was asking the wrong group of people here.
I like mainline that stuff. The only thing I'm missing is like something that connects it like into the central vein. I just drain it right in. 54 degrees right now in Joplin. It is windy as get out, coming in at 30 miles an hour. 7-day forecast is going to bring us rain, but not until later tonight. Cool front just in time for Thanksgiving, but as long as you're on the road during daylight hours, whether it be today or tomorrow, you're not going to run into anything.
All right, that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Frontenac Raiders look to bring home a football state championship this weekend against Andale. We're going to take a closer look at their chances. Plus, one NFL star drops in on his local supermarket to shop for the community just in time for Thanksgiving. And a new report warns of the impacts flu season could have on a healthcare system already stretched thin from the COVID pandemic. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Are you ready?
Frontenac Raiders have a chance to bring home a football state championship this weekend. Raiders hit the road on the way to Hutchinson on Friday to face Andale on Saturday, looking to do what they've only done one other time in program history.
And we were in the stands watching, and it was definitely a moment where we thought to ourselves, that's what we want to do when we get in high school.
Now, the Raiders are back in the state title game, giving this group of seniors a chance to do what they've been planning to do since they were kids.
We've dreamed of this since youth league kids. We've always told Coach Smith that our grade is going to be the year that goes to state and wins it.
They've been talking about this their whole career. They put the work in the off season. We have 18 special seniors in a young group that's very special as well, and they've come together and bonded very well. That's what makes a special team. So they've clicked at the right time, and they have one more ride together.
The Raiders are coming off a big win over Holton in the state semifinals. Frontenac held the Wildcats to just 13 points Friday, a season low for a Holton team averaging 40 per week.
I thought we played extremely hard. After that first quarter, we really controlled the line of scrimmage on both sides. We've been in a lot of big games the last 4 or 5 weeks, a lot of tight games in the third and fourth quarters, and our kids weren't fazed at halftime when we were down by one. We felt like we were in a really good position, and you could see our confidence in our kids. So I was just proud of our leadership, and our kids believed, and they just played hard last Friday.
They'll need another big performance on Saturday in the state championship game. Frontenac faces Andale for the 3A title, a team that's 12-0 and averaging more than 50 points per contest.
Saturday it'll be good smash mouth football, and that's the way we like it.
They control the clock, they control the ball. It seems like their offense is on the field a lot, so we're going to have to do that to them, run at them, take care of the ball, keep their defense on the field, and just try to win the field position and turnover battle.
We're big up front, and our linebackers are real good getting downhill, and we just love physical football, and that's just part of being part of a Frontenac team. We love each other like brothers, and we're just willing to get it done together.
Tell you what, think about that and reflect upon the Smith family and, of course, all the success that Mark's father, Chuck, had at St. Mary's Colgan. With a feather in his cap, that would be for Mark to bring home a state championship, and for all those kids as well. Know a lot of them personally, and really looking forward to that. Frontenac kicking off with Andale, 1 p.m. Of course, that is Saturday in Hutch. This season is the beginning of a new era for Joplin High School boys basketball. The Eagles entering their first season under Coach Bronson Shakey, who joined the program from Riverton High School this offseason. The Eagles get things started on the road, facing the McDonald County Mustangs, and a good start for Matt Coe. Eli McLean with nice finish. Then kick out Pierce Harmon. Harmon knocks down the three for the Stangs. Other end, here come the Eagles. Joplin responds. always right. Through traffic, Eagles down 3 after 1. Joplin would take the lead in the second. Terrence Gibson cleans up his own miss. That's called working the glass right there. Joplin wins 62-58. First win for the Eagles' new head coach. Still to come on the KOAM Morning News, tensions escalating as Ukraine upgrades its Navy and Russia builds up troops on its border. Plus a check on our 7-day forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Windy as all get out, but also too a little bit warm considering we're at November the 24th and we sit at 54 degrees. We've been talking about freezing temps here lately in the morning, and now look at that. We're a good 25 degrees warmer than what we've had past couple of days. There it is, whipping in from the south, anywhere from 20 to 25 miles per hour, gusting up to 40 miles per hour, but still, that is why we are able to stay in the mid-50s. Had that increase in cloud cover overnight as well. That helped trap in the overnight warmth as complete shift of the jet stream brings a trough now. And when we say the trough, that's where bottoms out right here over in the four corners. But still, look at that color contour bringing us the warm air and resulting in temperatures up into the mid-60s later on today. Now, we know we're going to get a little precipitation activity, mainly after sunset. We start off with the light variety, and then we do increase as we work into early Thursday morning. But by Thursday sunrise, we're going to be done with it, and it's going to be a little bit of a chilly afternoon, but at least we'll have sunshine on Thanksgiving. For those of you Black Friday shopping, bundle up. It's going to be cold from Thursday night into Friday. Nice looking weekend ahead, mild temperatures and overnight lows above the freezing point. Time now to turn our attention to the KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning Insta poll. As a famous face made a stop at a Cincinnati Kroger store on Tuesday. Bengals wide receiver Jamar Chase. And he wasn't at the store buying stuff for himself. He was in the Queen City to do it to help others who are in need. Molly Lair with the story.
Bengals wide receiver Jamar Chase may blend into the normal mix of Kroger shoppers if not for the security and cameras. For a few hours, he's shedding his uniform and doing work off the field to help the community.
Hello. How you doing?
A cart full of Thanksgiving turkeys go from checkout, are loaded into his car, and find a final stop with families who take them home for the holiday.
It's a blessing coming through for some of the families that's unable to provide for their family for on the holidays. So it's a good thing. My kids go to this school, so it's very nice.
The pickup line winds around Alliance Academy in Evanston. Chase and his family fill cars with a turkey and $50 gift card to Kroger. He says this is what it's all about.
Just giving back to the community, giving back to Cincinnati, showing my appreciation and love that they're giving to me. And also, giving out for the Chase Family Foundation for me and my family, looking out to help others.
His star power draws kids and parents out of their cars for pictures with the rookie. But the deeper meaning of the day is felt even among the youngest in the crowd.
I feel grateful because usually we don't get turkeys like these.
And that's what makes it all worthwhile.
I'm happy to be in this attendance today for those children who need it, to make their Thanksgiving better, any way possible I can, just to, see a smile on the kids' faces and make a day better for anyone, and myself included.
Now, these families get ready for a day full of food.
Jamar Chase is from right outside of New Orleans, and amazing to see that he's adopted the Queen City of Cincinnati kind of as his new hometown. That's amazing. Our question to you on the Insta poll this morning, are you amped for Thanksgiving? You can either connect to us via our Facebook page or go to komnewsnow.com/vote. Be back with Health Watch next.
Parts of the country, just as the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention issues a report about the impact a severe flu season may have on our already vulnerable healthcare systems. Jen Sullivan shows us why experts are warning this flu season may be worse than last year's.
Flu season may be getting underway, and health experts are concerned about the spread of the virus this year.
It's very possible we'll experience a more severe flu season than we did last year. Many experts are predicting that.
Family doctor Jennifer Cottle says the flu is back after essentially taking a break last season, when COVID-19 put a bigger emphasis on public health measures like hand washing, mask use, and social distancing, which helped keep flu activity low. The CDC recommends the flu vaccine for all people 6 months or older and says that it is safe to receive both the COVID-19 vaccine and the flu vaccine at the same time.
If you can do it conveniently in one visit. So whatever it takes to get both of them, go ahead and do it. If it's one visit, it's perfectly fine.
We're already seeing clusters of cases popping up in different parts of the country. Last week, the CDC confirmed it's helping investigate an outbreak of more than 500 flu cases among students at the University of Michigan. That's the biggest single outbreak so far. Experts say the misconception that the flu shot makes people sick often keeps them from getting it.
If you don't feel well after the vaccine, sometimes it's merely our response to the vaccine. And also remember, it takes about 2 weeks for the flu shot to actually develop protectiveness in our body.
Meanwhile, a recent report from the CDC shows influenza viruses may pose a risk to healthcare systems already overburdened by the coronavirus pandemic.
The last thing we need is for there to be even more burden on the healthcare system and people getting further ill.
For today's Health Minute, I'm Jen Sullivan.
The flu is estimated to cause about 710,000 hospitalizations and up to 61,000 deaths each year in the U.S. Experts say flu season typically peaks between December and February, but it can continue through May. We'll be right back. Coming up, a federal judge in Springfield hands down a 20-year sentence to a former Joplin middle school teacher. And Kevin Strickland is released from prison after more than 40 years. Also, look out, Macy's. Neosho 3rd and 4th graders team up for their own Thanksgiving parade.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Tanya Bach. We'll get to those stories in just a moment. But first, let's go to Michael Hayslip, Skywatch Weather Center.
Sans apron.
How's the turkey coming along?
It's coming along great. Oh, there's my aprons behind me. No, why did I take off the apron?
I'm not sure.
Oh.
I figured you'd leave it on.
No, I acted professional for like 5 minutes of the show. And then I was like, yeah, I'm back at it. Everybody's on vacation break anyway. So just us. Just us.
You're going to do me a big favor and throw my pumpkin butterscotch cake in the oven at 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock at 3:50 for 45 minutes?
Yes.
So folks, this is not scripted. Like this is what we do here. Will you do me a favor? Will you set your timer?
Okay.
I've got another timer working over here. I don't trust the kitchen timer because we can't hear it. And so if you ever hear a beeping noise in the background today's show, we're busy cooking. It's Tanya's brainchild. Each and every year she puts this together. Our producer, Carissa Holler, and Ron, they've been working hard behind the scenes to make sure that, number one, we're all organized, because Lord knows I couldn't do that. But number two, also that they write down all the ingredients that go into each of these recipes in case you're looking for something last minute and you go, you know what, that looks really good. I'd like to try that at home. Can we find those on KOAMnewsnow.com? Because I just put the entire staff on blast right there by saying that.
We'll have them up there later this morning.
God bless you, whoever's in charge of that.
Thank you, Stacy.
Love you, Stacy Strader. You're great. She's not watching. She's sleeping right now. Current conditions over 7th and Rangeline. 54 degrees is where we stand. It is a windy one, gusting at 41 miles per hour at Joplin Regional Airport. Sustained winds easily in between 20 and 25 miles per hour, but also too, that means temperatures are in the 50s. Now, the 7-day forecast shows us while tomorrow may be cooler, we really won't have any travel concerns because look at how Future Track sets up. As long as you get on the road before sunset or even shortly after sunset today, you're going to be good. And if you got travel plans tomorrow, guess what? It's all gone by the time we all get up and get going.
Sounds like a plan.
I was going to talk gas prices, but when you got old Bronte Sorotsky on your team, you let her handle it.
Okay, so you know how you said the wind was going to be pretty bad yesterday? It was overnight, but driving to Wichita and back was not bad at all, and I was really surprised.
Really? That surprises me.
Yeah.
You were taking did you take 400?
400, yeah.
You went 400?
For some of
no,
the
I'm
way,
glad.
For some of the way.
I'm glad that it wasn't. You're right. That is surprising. Simply because with it coming in, it's been coming in due south. So yeah, east-west is going to be usually is your hardest time.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, but I heard it blowing overnight though.
Hey, how are those turbines doing out there with the wind? They're probably booking at a good pace, weren't they?
Yeah, yeah.
I bet.
You know, sometimes they get going. If it gets too windy, they'll just shut them down.
Yeah.
Yeah. for sure.
It's impressive out there.
They were still moving yesterday. All right, thanks, Michael. A former Joplin middle school teacher will spend 20 years in prison for enticing a minor to engage in sex. A federal judge in Springfield handed down Amanda Schweitzer's sentence yesterday. Those 20 years will be served without the possibility of parole and will be followed by 15 years of supervised release. The 13-year-old victim, who was a student of Schweitzer, reported Schweitzer sent nude photos of herself to the victim and had sex with the victim on at least 2 occasions. Kevin Strickland has been behind bars for more than 40 years, but on Tuesday, the 62-year-old, who maintained his innocence for the duration of his time in prison, is free. Missouri judge yesterday ruled that Strickland was wrongfully convicted for 3 murders. Jackson County prosecutor Gene Peters Baker and other legal and political leaders worked to free Strickland because they said evidence used to convict him had been recanted or disproven since his conviction in 1979.
Have I changed? I'm not necessarily angry. It's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, I think I've created some emotions that you all don't know about just yet. I'm gonna have to put a name on them. I've interacted a bunch: happy, joy, sorrow, fear. You know, all those. I'm trying to figure out how to put them together. But yeah, I think I've created a couple that y'all don't know about yet.
Attorney General Eric Schmidt fought Strickland's release, saying he believes Strickland is guilty. Strickland was convicted in the April 25th, 1978 deaths of 21-year-old Larry Ingram, 20-year-old John Walker, and 22-year-old Sherry Black. A lot of businesses are struggling to find new employees right now, but for at least one group, it's nothing new. Some local law enforcement agencies have faced recruiting issues for years. KOAM's Chris Warner tells us what they're up against and what they're doing to try to bring more officers in.
We spoke with 3 law enforcement agencies in Jasper County about recruiting and retaining officers. Captain Will Davis with the Joplin Police Department says they have 7 new recruits in the Law Enforcement Academy now, but it's still not enough.
We're still 13 positions short here at the police department, and that's just the attrition that we've seen over the last several years.
In Jasper County, they're facing similar issues.
It could always be better. It's a constant revolving door of trying to get employees to come and want to work in law enforcement.
The Carthage Police Department, on the other hand, is seeing the opposite.
We've been very fortunate at this department by maintaining good retention of our employees. We do recruiting on occasion. That's really just to make sure our name is still out there and, giving recruits and people that are interested in law enforcement an idea of what Carthage Police Department is about.
For the departments facing staffing issues, they're working on getting creative and offering programs and incentives to recruits.
We will hire a person on and send them to the academy, and we'll pay for those academy costs, whereas any other individual may have to pay that out of pocket if they send themselves to the academy.
Davis says there's an extra perk to that as well.
And also, as you're going through class, you're an employee, so you're earning a paycheck while you're sitting in class, learning and being trained to be a police officer.
In Jasper County, they have the benefit of the jail for those who may be interested in joining the force.
At 18 years old, someone can work at the detention center, find out if law enforcement is even the field that they want to work in.
Teed says they also offer scholarship opportunities to those people to get into the academy. In Jasper County, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade might get all the headlines, but this one in Neosho is pretty special itself. Neosho 3rd and 4th graders teamed up to make this parade happen. 3rd graders made balloons and 4th graders made the floats. And then both classes got to dole out candy to the younger kiddos.
So our 3rd graders make balloons and our 4th graders make floats. And so then we, parade around, throw candy to our younger students and just put them in the holiday spirit.
Organizers say the parade gives some lessons in STEM activities. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News. Get ready for a behind-the-scenes look at how the KOAM Morning Crew will be celebrating Thanksgiving here in the studio.
Trust me, you do not want to go behind the scenes on that.
Do we have Michael's mic on? Hope so. Plus, Polish security forces fire water cannons at rock-throwing migrants on the Belarusian border. We'll have the latest, but first, It's 5:37.
Folks, it's just sit back and enjoy the finished product. You do not want to see how it's made. Trust me. Highs today in the 60s. A little rain kicks in late tonight into early Thursday morning, done by sunrise on Thanksgiving. It's going to be chilly Thanksgiving, though. Only highs in the 40s. Good looking weekend. For those of you Black Friday shopping, bundle up for tomorrow night into Friday.
Topping World Watch, Polish security forces fired water cannons at rock-throwing migrants on the border with Belarus. 7 police officers were hurt. The latest in a crisis the European Union says is orchestrated by Belarus, an ally of Russia, in retaliation for EU sanctions imposed over a crackdown on political protest, a charge that Minsk denies. Up to 4,000 migrants, mostly from Iraq and Afghanistan, are now waiting in freezing forest on what is not only Poland's frontier, but is also the external border of the EU and NATO, the Western military alliance. At least 8 migrants have died at the border during the crisis. NATO reiterated its support for Warsaw in a crisis that has left thousands stranded on the frontier in icy temperatures. The top U.S. and Russian generals are staying in touch amid serious concerns about the Russian troop buildup near the border with Ukraine. But the Ukrainian government in Kyiv is not taking any chances, pushing forward with a badly needed upgrade of its navy. Fred Plegan has this rare look behind the scenes.
On patrol in some of the most contested waters in the world, Ukraine's Navy took us on an artillery boat in the Sea of Azov, just as tensions with Russia have reached a boiling point. Our main goal is to defend and keep the sovereignty of Ukraine from the direction of the sea, the captain tells me. Russia has been massing troops near Ukraine's borders, the U.S. says, warning its allies a large-scale invasion could happen soon. The Ukrainians believe that if Russia does decide to launch an attack, that the Sea of Azov could be one of the main battlegrounds. That's why the Ukrainians are both modernizing their fleet, but also their infrastructure on land as well. The Azov coastline holds a strategic value to Russia. It would allow President Vladimir Putin to establish a much-sought land corridor to connect Russia to annexed Crimea. Ukraine's defense ministry gave us rare access to the massive construction going on at the Berdyansk naval base. Kiev has now ordered this building program to urgently be accelerated, with the Russian threat looming large. In order to complete this project as quick as possible, the Ukrainian military tells us they are now working 7 days a week. And they say once it's finished, it will offer a formidable deterrent against any Russian aggression. Upgrades seem badly needed here, with much of Berdyansk's port in utter disrepair. Ukraine says new facilities will allow them to base more and bigger ships here. We are ready, this officer says. That is why we are here, so that at any time, if there is any aggression in the Azov Sea, we can resist it. Ukraine's president says Russia has positioned close to 100,000 troops near its borders, which the Kremlin denies. These satellite images appearing to show dozens of military vehicles near Yelnya in southwestern Russia. The Biden administration has warned Moscow not to attack and is mulling more weapons deliveries to Kiev. CNN has learned one U.S. defense official says Russia's aim may be to create confusion or to get concessions. The Kremlin dismissed talk of a possible invasion as hysteria. Ukraine's armed forces say they are on constant alert, preparing for an armed confrontation they hope can be avoided.
That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Let's toss it over to Michael for our Something to Talk About.
Simple, Tanya. KOAM News Now Facebook page and our Morning Instant Poll. We're just asking if you're excited for Thanksgiving here on the KOAM Morning Show each and every year. That's Jamar Chase right there, Cincinnati Bengals wide receiver. He pulled a little surprise crew, pulled a little hay slip on him, went out there, bought everybody a turkey who was at the grocery store, especially those who were in need. Just a great gesture by him. But our question for you specifically, are you excited for Thanksgiving? Tanya's brainchild is each and every year we actually do we're a family here on the morning show. It's simple as that. And we do a family Thanksgiving supper. Everybody makes something and brings it in. We share those recipes with you. And we're asking if you're excited about the holiday. Right now, 58% of you say no. We ran a similar question to this last year. And actually, this is more, this is closer. than what it was last year. I think coming out of the pandemic haze and whatnot of last year, everybody's still getting back and going. But I think last year it was like close to 70% that were not excited. To each their own. I just appreciate everybody's engagement. Take part either via Facebook or KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Be back with the news you need to know before you head out the door right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Former Joplin Middle School teacher will spend 20 years in prison for enticing a minor to engage in sex. Federal judge in Springfield handed down Amanda Schweitzer's sentence yesterday. Those 20 years will be served without the possibility of parole, will be followed by 15 years of supervised release. 13-year-old victim, who was a student of Schweitzer, reported Schweitzer sent nude photos of herself to the victim and had sex with the victim on at least 2 occasions. City of Carthage is considering whether to ask voters to approve funds for a new performing arts center. Officials say the current performing arts center, which is attached to the 6th grade center, is no longer adequate for the school district or community to use. If approved, the new center would be attached to the high school, but before voters can decide, the school board has a decision to make. And the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade might get all the headlines, but this one in Neosho is pretty special itself. Neosho 3rd and 4th graders teamed up to make this parade happen. 3rd graders made balloons and 4th graders made the floats, and then both classes got to dole out candy to the younger kiddos. Also at South Elementary in Neosho, students have been hard at work raising money for other area kids. Tiffany Fanny's kindergarten class set a goal to raise $700 for the Shop with a Hero program. They surpassed the goal, hitting more than $1,000. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Temperature sitting in the mid-50s. It's a windy one, and we're still gusting up to 40 miles per hour. Any rain that we do see, that's going to be really after sunset and before sunrise on Thursday. Chilly Thanksgiving, though, highs only in the mid-40s. More KOAM morning news. Tanya's got recipes next. Vision City, waiting on my little mic cue right there. Trust me, guys, we can talk about weather for days. Put a week on it. Temperatures right now hanging around mid-50 degrees. Very, very high southerly winds gusting up to 40 miles per hour. But here's the nice thing. We're still going to be up into the mid-60s today. Increased cloud cover, and if you are traveling any and everywhere, here's the nice thing. Look at this. We're going to be absolutely fine. Let's say you're going to take off even late tonight. It's still not too bad. And everything that we see is really going to pick up along and south of I-44, but that's not until early Thursday morning. And it's looking like a quick hitter too, because we're going to push in and we're going to push out. And by the time we get into Thanksgiving Day, clearing skies, it's going to be cool, only in the 40s, but at least we get some sunshine for Thanksgiving. We'll be back. Tanya has got some recipes headed our way right after this.
All right, welcome back. We're kicking off our KOAM Morning Show Thanksgiving Feast here, and I've got Corinza Holler, one of our morning show producers, with us here this morning. And I said your wrong last name. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, it's okay. It happens. Funny enough, my last name's Holler Cook, and what do you know? I'm going to start off with some stuffing that I made for us today.
Now, this is simple stuffing that anybody can make at home. When you're planning a big spread, you can go all out and go with 50 ingredients in every recipe, or you can do, some intense recipes and then throw in a few easy filler ones. And then stuffing is always an easy one that you can do that with.
Yeah, so with this stuffing, I just literally got us a box of stuffing and did the instructions on it. The particular one I got is from Kroger, or Dillon's, whatever you want to call it. It's the same thing, really. So you just need 1 box of stuffing, a medium saucepan, your half stick of butter or a 1/4 cup, and 1.5 cups of water. And basically what you'll do in that saucepan is pour your water, put your butter in, and it melt and it'll come to a boil. And then you'll just stir in the contents of the stuffing pouch and let it sit for 5 minutes once it gets all nice and fluffy, and then serve.
Mm-hmm. And there's things that you can do to spice up a box stuffing too. You can add in cranberries.
Oh, sure.
You can add in meat. You can add in your giblets from the turkey. Like just anything that you want to make it yours too. Like the box is basically a starter for you.
I'm just a picky eater, so I kind of just go with basic stuffing anyways.
Okay, and we have some potato salad too, if
Right.
you want to run through this one. This one is an example of a little more intensive recipe that's got quite a few ingredients.
Right, so this potato salad, you're going to need obviously potatoes. You're going to need white vinegar, celery, green onions, hard-boiled eggs, mayonnaise, which is your typical base for it, celery seeds, yellow mustard, kosher salt, and some pepper, salt and pepper, and pepper for garnishing. And it comes out like this. The recipe is very like long and lengthy, and it comes out very nice though, at least.
Okay, yeah, it's quite tasty. A lot of flavors involved in this. Okay, what are we going to be making coming up later in the show?
Ooh, so for the 6th, we're going to have actually our NA, Carrie, who's running behind cameras. Hi, Carrie. She's going to be showing us her mac and cheese and mashed potatoes. So I'm really looking forward to that one too.
Okay.
And then we'll have more in the 7th, but I don't want to spoil the 7th.
Yeah, Michael and I have been kind of teasing that too. All right, well, we want to wish everyone Thanksgiving and be sure to stick around for our next segment. We'll be right back. Coming up, a federal judge in Springfield hands down a 20-year sentence to a former Joplin middle school teacher. And Kevin Strickland is released from prison after more than 40 years. Also, look out, Macy's Neosho 3rd and 4th graders team up for their own Thanksgiving parade.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 6 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. We'll get to those stories in just a minute, but first, Michael Hayslip just emerged from the KOAM kitchen. How is the turkey coming along?
No, I'm more concerned with the cake. I got a cake because I had to bring the oven down to 350. I got a cake going in for a buddy of mine who wants it done for
45.
I was right.
I don't think your mic's on.
It is now.
There you go.
45 minutes at 350 degrees.
Thank you.
For those of you that are just joining us, thank you, number one, for waking up and watching. Number two, each and every year, this is Tanya's brainchild. We bring together the KOAM Morning Show family because truly that's what we are, and we do our own celebration of Thanksgiving. Everybody brings in a dish, and thanks to our great producers, Carinza and Ron, and our graphic artist, Will York, director Dylan Macedo. We've got Carrie Clapp back here behind the camera. We've got Jesse Connolly back in master control. Did I miss anybody? Please tell me if I did. Everybody comes together. We cook for one another, but those are the people that actually are the ones that bring you the recipes that go on air, so you get to see what everybody makes. Thinking last minute, hey, that looks really good. You're able to find those on KOAMnewsnow.com, and hopefully your family enjoys it as well. And like I said, our family appreciates everything that you all do in our community, and thank you for watching once again. 54 degrees in Joplin right now. South wind 22 miles per hour. That's sustained. Last gust we had was 41 miles per hour. Now, no travel concerns as we'll be up into the 60s today. Rain really doesn't kick in until we get past sunset and done before sunrise on Thanksgiving. It is going to be a little bit chilly there tomorrow. Highs only around 46, 47 degrees. Little rebound. If you are going Black Friday shopping from Thursday into Friday, bundle up. That will be the one time where we drop below the freezing point on the 7-day forecast.
Of course it has to be.
Where'd you put the batter? Is it by the stove?
No, it's on the side.
It's on the side.
You'll see it's in the cake pan. It's ready.
This is live television, folks. It's Hayslip going to cook a cake, bake a cake. You don't cook a cake.
Thank you. He's putting my
If I know you were
butterscotch
coming, I'd have baked
in the
the
oven
cake.
For 45 minutes starting
At
now.
350, I know.
Thank you, Michael. It's going to be delicious.
45 minutes.
All right, moving on to our local news. A former Joplin middle school teacher will spend 20 years in prison for enticing a minor to engage in sex. A federal judge in Springfield handed down Amanda Schweitzer's sentence yesterday. Those 20 years will be served without the possibility of parole and will be followed by 15 years of supervised release. The 13-year-old victim, who was a student of Schweitzer, reported Schweitzer sent nude photos of herself to the victim and had sex with the victim on at least 2 occasions. Kevin Strickland has been behind bars for more than 40 years. But on Tuesday, the 62-year-old who maintained his innocence for the duration of his time in prison is free. Missouri judge yesterday ruled that Strickland was wrongfully convicted for 3 murders. Jackson County Prosecutor Jean Peters Baker and other legal and political leaders worked to free Strickland because they said evidence used to convict him had been recanted or disproven since his conviction in 1979.
I have a change. I'm not necessarily angry. It's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, I think I've created some emotions that you all don't know about just yet. I'm gonna have to put a name on them. I've interacted a bunch: happy, joy, sorrow, fear. You know, all those. I'm trying to figure out how to put them together. But yeah, I think I've created a couple that y'all don't know about yet.
In there. Attorney General Eric Schmidt fought Strickland's release, saying he believes Strickland is guilty. Strickland was convicted in the April 25th, 1978 deaths of 21-year-old Larry Ingram, 20-year-old John Walker, and 22-year-old Sherry Black. Holiday travelers who opt to hit the road will face high prices at the pump. The national average for gasoline right now is $3.40. That's 3 cents more than a month ago, and $1.29 more than a year ago, 81 cents more than in 2019. In our area, the average price is a bit lower. In Missouri, it's $3.12 a gallon, and it's $3.05 in Kansas and $2.96 in Oklahoma. Well, the White House hopes to help lower the price of gas. President Biden yesterday announced the release of 50 million barrels of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. A White House release says it's part of a group effort involving China, India, Japan, South Korea, and the United Kingdom. That's because the price of oil is determined on a global market and is based on supply and demand. Supply is largely determined by output decided on by the OPEC cartel, which is made up primarily of Middle Eastern oil-producing nations. Coordinated release of oil is an attempt to undermine OPEC's control of the market. At the height of the pandemic last year, oil traded below zero as producers struggled to find locations to store the oil they had extracted. In recent weeks, the price of fuel and inflation have become hot-button topics for the Biden administration. Last year, due to area COVID cases, Joplin Regional Airport officials say more people were staying home and barely anyone was flying. This year, it's a different story, with almost all of the flights booked through Sunday. While the Joplin Regional Airport is not that large, it goes to multiple popular hubs like Chicago, Houston, and Denver. That's where more issues like longer lines and delays may happen.
The problem is going to be probably at some of the bigger hubs. If you're flying out or going somewhere, I would suggest staying inside security and not going outside, because trying to rescreen and get back into security is going to be difficult, especially at some of the major hubs.
Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade might get all the headlines, but this one in Neosho is pretty special itself. Neosho 3rd and 4th graders teamed up to make this parade happen. 3rd graders made balloons and 4th graders made the floats, and then both classes got to dole out candy to the younger kiddos.
So our 3rd graders make balloons and our 4th graders make floats, and so then we parade around, throw candy to our younger students, and just put them in the holiday spirit.
Organizers say the parade gives kids some lessons in STEM activities. 6:07.
Temperatures right now in the mid-50s, absolutely delightful, considering it seems like for the past several mornings we've been talking about near freezing, if not below freezing temperatures. Of course, it's a result of the strong south wind coming in, gusting up to 40 miles per hour. Going to be a delightful afternoon, albeit a windy one, but a delightful afternoon temperature-wise. Get ready for a little rain after sunset and done with it by sunrise there on Thursday. As a matter of fact, if you've got travel plans for most of today and all of tomorrow or even into the weekend, you are in luck. Hey, Tanya, just a quick point out. We were talking about gas prices. Our 4 states are 4 of the 6 lowest in the entire nation. Only Texas and Mississippi are in that top 6 with ours, as far as that category of 6.
The weird thing about this gas price situation, yesterday I filled up 2 vehicles, one in the morning and one in the afternoon.
Okay.
They're both like $60 a piece, but the one in the afternoon was cheaper than the one in the morning price-wise.
Right.
Like the prices went down yesterday.
Prices have gone down. Oilers are this conversation that when we take over CNBC. By the way, we're coming for your stuff. Maria Bartiromo, Becky Quick Actually, can they host with us?
Yeah, that'd be fun. Stop it. Get back in that kitchen. No, just kidding.
I'm on my way. I'm on my way.
Better not let my cake burn. All right, that's a look at this morning's top
has a
stories
pocket.
and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Wanting more holiday recipes? Well, then we have good news for you. We've got 2 more coming up.
A new mom's fierce battle with COVID-19 is lending special meaning to this Thanksgiving. I'm Naomi Ruckham with her remarkable story of survival.
And even stores like Dollar Tree are getting hit by hard times. Find out what their new prices are gonna be. $1? Maybe not. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, there are more cooking fires on Thanksgiving Day than any other day of the year. And it's not because Michael's in the kitchen. Bradley Blackburn has more on how you can stay safe as you prepare your meal this year.
Thanksgiving Day turned tragic last year in New Bedford, Massachusetts. More than 24 people were left homeless after fire spread through this building. Officials say it was caused when someone tried to deep fry a turkey.
You can't underestimate the danger of cooking.
This demonstration shows just how dangerous it can be. Deep frying a frozen turkey creates massive flames.
If you're using a turkey fryer, make sure you use that fryer outside of the home. That means not in your garage, not on the porch. Also, make sure you start with a thoroughly thawed turkey and never overfill or overheat the oil in that turkey fryer.
Nikki Fleming from the Consumer Product Safety Commission says an average of 1,700 cooking fires occur on Thanksgiving, 3 times more than any other day of the year. Stove fires are very common. Firefighters say it's important to never douse the flames with water. Instead, place another pan on top to extinguish the fire. It's also important to keep children away from the stove.
Because kids can reach up and get a handle, pull something hot down on themselves. So again, make sure you're supervising your kids around any kind of cooking that's going on during the holiday season.
And experts say never leave a stove unattended because cooking accidents are the #1 cause of fires in the home. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Wall Street closed mixed on Tuesday as tech stocks declined while banking and energy shares climbed. The Dow rallied 194 points. The Nasdaq fell 79. The S&P 500 rose 7. The White House is taking aim at soaring gas costs. Yesterday, President Biden ordered the release of 50 million barrels of oil from the strategic petroleum reserves. The goal is to push prices down by increasing the supply. U.S. is one of several nations planning to tap their reserves in response to the rising demand for fuel. Inflation is now hitting even the Dollar Tree. For more than 3 decades, nearly every item sold in its stores has cost the same, $1. But on Tuesday, the company said it is raising that to $1.25 beginning early next year. Dollar Tree CEO said the hike would allow it to reintroduce popular products that it couldn't sell at the lower price point. That's it for Consumer Watch. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Our KOAM Morning Show feast continues for this Thanksgiving, and we've got Michael joining us on the other side. Thank you.
The KOAM Skywatch Weather Kitchen.
Yes, in your apron. And also joining us, she's usually behind the camera, but we pulled her out to introduce her dish, Carrie Clapp. Thank you. Looking great this morning, Carrie.
Thank you.
Now, you have made a macaroni salad. Or do you call it a macaroni casserole? Macaroni and cheese.
Macaroni and cheese.
There you go. Okay. Tell us how you made it.
Okay, well, I just cook 2 pounds of noodles, elbow noodles, al dente, that way they're not mushy. And then after that, I mix it with, put it back in the pan, mix it with 2 blocks of Velveeta, a can of evaporated milk, and some shredded cheese, cheddar cheese. Mix together, put it in a casserole dish, put it back in the oven, cook it through where it's warm, and then I'll add some Ritz crackers on top and cook it until it's golden brown.
Is this a recipe that you make often for your family?
Yes, my mom taught me this recipe, and so.
Looks so good. I'm excited to try it. And I probably took way too much.
That's okay.
So like our whole game plan is our morning show staff like after the show, we all gather together and we have a nice big Thanksgiving dinner. But after trying everything throughout the morning,
Not going to be hungry.
I eat twice. All right, I'm going to try it.
I'm not going to eat none right now.
Okay. All right. That's really good.
You like it? Okay.
Nice flavor.
I'm always asked to bring this at every Thanksgiving meal.
Okay, so what crackers did you say you put on top?
Ritz crackers.
Ritz crackers.
Yeah. Just
That's
crush it
interesting.
up and put a sleeve of Ritz crackers on top. I like to cook it where it's golden brown though.
Yep, I like the Velveeta cheese aspect of it. And this is one of our recipes that you will find online later this morning on our website at koamnewsnow.com. All right, well, thank you so much, Carrie.
Welcome.
Happy Thanksgiving.
You too.
And we're thankful to have you a part of our family.
Thank you. That means a lot.
All right, we'll be right back. Topping Health Watch this morning, a California mother is full of gratitude this Thanksgiving after her fight with COVID-19 nearly ended her life. Naomi Ruckham shows us how this new mother continues to battle severe complications, but is making strides for her husband and young daughter.
Ready, man? For Amy Yamaguchi, a walk around her home with her husband and daughter is a gift.
Just so much to be thankful for. And I love that this has opened my eyes to like what's really important in life.
Last December, at 36 weeks pregnant, the 35-year-old was diagnosed with COVID-19. With her lungs deteriorating, she needed an emergency C-section, and their daughter Marin was born.
For me, at the beginning, everything was the unknown, which was terrifying.
And it was only the beginning. Amy's lungs were failing, and she had to be transferred to Cedars-Sinai in Los Angeles.
It was a scary thought, but I always knew Amy would be home.
But that homecoming wouldn't happen for months. Doctors called for a Hail Mary pass, and Amy was placed on an ECMO machine.
We pumped her blood out of her body, put it through an artificial lung, put oxygen into it, and then pumped that blood back into her body.
Amy was in a coma for 5 months, and eventually she needed a double lung transplant. The surgery was complicated, and she suffered a series of mini strokes. When she woke up, she remembered nothing from the last 5 years of her life.
I had no recollection of Marin being born. My husband, Danny, I thought was just a good, he much has a crush on me because he's always in here.
But out of the dark confusion came light when Amy got to meet Marin for the first time.
It's the best therapy. And it's made me stronger in the fact that I can pick her up now, I can hold her.
Mama. Though Amy still has some physical challenges, her doctors believe she will live a long and healthy life.
I'm really just looking forward to being with family.
And creating new memories during this first Thanksgiving as a family. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
Now, Amy's transplant was the first COVID-19 related lung transplant at Cedars-Sinai. Since then, doctors there have performed several more. Prior to the pandemic, surgeons did not perform transplants for patients on ECMO because they were considered too high risk. 1 in 5 people ignored healthcare issues during the pandemic, even skipping treatment for potentially urgent symptoms like chest pain and heart palpitations. That's the finding of a new study of people 40 and older published in PLOS Medicine. Researchers found that those most likely to neglect health problems were women, people with poor health, and those suffering from depression and anxiety. Well, researchers say they found a new link between obesity and diabetes and the risk of developing breast cancer. A report in the Boston University School of Medicine shows a type of vesicle in the body called exosomes, making breast cancer more severe and more resistant to treatment. The findings could help doctors better treat breast cancer and reduce the risk for patients who are obese or suffer from type 2 diabetes. Well, doctors say a popular treatment for hepatitis could also increase the effectiveness of antibiotics. A New York University study says the drug Telaprevir not only made bacteria more sensitive to antibiotics, it also limited antibiotic resistance. Antibiotic resistance among patients is a worldwide health crisis, making it more difficult to treat many different diseases. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Coming up, a federal judge in Springfield hands down a 20-year sentence to a former Joplin middle school teacher. And Kevin Strickland is released from prison after more than 40 years. Also, look out, Macy's Neosho 3rd and 4th graders team up for their own Thanksgiving parade.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News at 6:30. I'm Tanya Bach. We'll get to those stories in just a moment. But first, let's go to Michael Hayslip in the Skywatch Weather Center, who's wearing an apron.
Okay, thank you. I was going to let you cover for me. I was hoping you were going to pick me up on that. You're going to explain to everybody.
Okay. Michael, tell us, why are you wearing an
No,
apron?
I was hoping you were going to explain to everybody. So each and every year, this is Tanya's brainchild that we're fortunate enough to all take advantage of each and every year because we are KOAM Morning News family. And thank you for watching and essentially being a part of our extended family. We come together during Thanksgiving and everybody makes a dish. And then Tanya introduces us to that person, that dish, and that recipe. And we put those online at KOAMnewsnow.com. So if you see something delightful that one of our excellent crew has made, you then have access to it to be able to replicate it in your own test kitchen. Skywatch Weather Test Kitchen Center, where we say, ooh, it's so windy.
Yeah.
I got you, Carrie.
That was a good one. That was a good one. Just so you know, none of the food was actually made in the Skywatch Weather Center.
We what?
We have a kitchen.
Yeah, you don't want.
Yeah.
You get the oven right down. That's why it's hot. What do you want this on 350?
No. We keep it so cold in this room, nothing would ever cook. It has
No,
to
that's
only
when
be,
Doug is here. When Doug is here,
like if it's an item that requires refrigeration in order to set
right.
up, or like actual freezing it, then we could do it here in the studio.
And all of you know that we absolutely love Doug to death. But the reason that if any of you bag a deer and field dress it, and like you want to keep it for a little bit, you just bring it to the studio. Doug will have it approximately 31, 32 degrees in here, and that's why we love him.
We love you, Doug.
Thank you, Nightside folks. Joplin stays at 54 degrees. Tanya and I used to be Nightside folks. That's why we can rip on them now. 54 degrees is where we stand. I tell you what, that wind is not let up one bit, gusting up to 40 miles per hour. These are sustained winds that we're seeing, but a nice thing is temperatures already in the 50s. We'll make it up around, say 65, 66 degrees. Yeah, we are going to roll some rain, but that won't be until later tonight. And after it rolls through, we're not looking at anything severe done by sunrise on Thanksgiving. Shouldn't really have any travel concerns. Revisit the 7-day forecast. Bundle up if you're going Black Friday shopping. I guess we're going to find out.
It could be worse. We could have had snow. We could have had like rain all day long on Black Friday or Thanksgiving.
Right. No, I mean, the cold is one thing. That's easily manageable. This forecast is playing out perfectly with people being on the road and whatnot.
It'll be nice. Perfect.
People on the road. Do you have your box over is my soapbox over there?
No, we put it away so I wouldn't trip over it.
I'll grab my soapbox maybe a little bit later.
I do trip over it a lot.
I'm interested to see how many people are shopping this year.
Oh, I bet a
or
lot.
is after the pandemic, we're still in the midst of the pandemic, I understand that. Is everybody just online anymore?
Okay, so I've always been like a big fan, because our shift starts at like 4 a.m., we come in here. I've always enjoyed like the Black Friday shopping that starts at midnight, because then you could take advantage of that and then come to work and then talk about the experience you had.
I know, but I'm dead serious. I don't know.
Yeah, Walmart starts at 5 a.m. I mean.
Oh, really?
I think that's one of the earliest ones.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know. So nobody's doing like the midnight thing anymore.
If they are, let us know. I haven't heard of one.
I'll be darned. No, I had no idea.
Yeah. So everything will be picked over by the time
I gotta go check your cake.
Yeah.
No, I'm not leaving you. I'm just going to go check your cake. I'm dead serious.
Thank you. Making a butterscotch pumpkin cake. I'm so excited about this.
Oh, that'll wait a recipe drop. A name dropper. My goodness.
Michael's making a turkey.
Whatever.
All right, moving along. A former Joplin middle school teacher will spend 20 years in prison for enticing a minor to engage in sex. Federal judge in Springfield handed down Amanda Schweitzer's sentence yesterday. Those 20 years will be served without the possibility of parole and will be followed by 15 years of supervised release. The 13-year-old victim, who was a student of Schweitzer, reported Schweitzer sent nude photos of herself to the victim and had sex with the victim on at least 2 occasions. Kevin Strickland has been behind bars for more than 40 years, but on Tuesday, the 62-year-old who maintained his innocence for the duration of his time in prison is free. Missouri judge yesterday ruled that Strickland was wrongfully convicted for 3 murders. Jackson County prosecutor Gene Peters Baker and other legal and political leaders worked to free Strickland because they said evidence used to convict him had been recanted or disproven since his conviction in 1969.
I have changed. I'm not necessarily angry. It's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, I think I've created some emotions that you all don't know about just yet. I'm gonna have to put a name on them. I've interacted a bunch: happy, joy, sorrow, fear. You know, all those. I'm trying to figure out how to put them together. But yeah, I think I've created a couple that y'all don't know about yet.
Attorney General Eric Schmidt fought Strickland's release, saying he believes Strickland is guilty. Strickland was convicted in the April 25, 1978 deaths of 21-year-old Larry Ingram, 20-year-old John Walker, and 22-year-old Sherry Black. Well, this week is one of the busiest for travelers. Last year, due to COVID-19, not many people were flying over the Thanksgiving holiday. The Joplin Regional Airport says that has changed this year. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky spoke with the airport's manager and a traveler.
The Joplin Regional Airport says they're preparing for a surge of travelers this holiday season, something they're already seeing during the week of Thanksgiving.
We are seeing fairly substantial loads going out of here. Started last weekend, and we'll anticipate those through the rest of this week.
The change was even more noticeable for those traveling.
I've been flying since before 2020. It was more packed than last year for sure. I got to my gate fine. In Chicago, it's a little different. It's a lot busier than the Charlotte airport. So I had about 10 minutes to get to my connecting flight. That was hard.
This is a major shift from last year, according to airport manager Steve Stockham.
Last year, we were in the middle of a pretty high COVID peak. There was a lot of folks that chose to stay put, obviously not get in large gatherings and those types of things. I think those folks that have been vaccinated and have kind of moved on from that situation now are moving around a lot more. We are seeing fairly substantial loads going out of here.
Stockham says the biggest issue travelers may face isn't at the Joplin airport, but at the many hubs Joplin flies to, like Chicago and Denver.
I would suggest staying inside security and not going outside, because trying to rescreen and get back into security is going to be difficult, especially at some of the major hubs.
The biggest thing he recommends for all travelers to have this holiday season is patience.
You're going to have to be prepared to wait in some of those instances, and I just suggest everyone to be as patient as possible.
In Joplin, Bronte Sorotsky, KUAM News.
Airport's manager also stresses the importance of making travel plans in advance, as flights at the Joplin Regional Airport are already booked through Sunday. Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade might get all the headlines, but this one in Neosho is pretty special itself. Neosho 3rd and 4th graders teamed up to make the parade happen. 3rd graders made balloons and 4th graders made the floats, and then both classes got to dole out candy to the younger kiddos.
So our 3rd graders make balloons and our 4th graders make floats. And so then we, parade around, throw candy to our younger students and just put them in the holiday spirit.
Organizers say the parade gives some lessons in STEM activities. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, the verdict from the Charlottesville case is in. We're going to tell you the outcome. Plus, Thanksgiving.
Don't do it. Don't you do it.
I'm not reading that word or
Thank
I will
you.
get fired.
That was me saving you. No,
I know.
You did it. You did it by yourself.
Thanksgiving is tomorrow. We want to know how excited you are. And producers, please never put that word in my script again. We let you weigh in, but first, it's 6:37.
Oh, come on. Peel back the curtain. We got to tell everybody.
I would literally my job if I said literally on air.
Folks, we're not allowed to use the L word, and I'm all for our fearless leader, Kirsty Spencer, instilling that into our brains, because I'm a father of a 12 and a 16-year-old. I've given up the fight. I hear that word 80 times over supper.
I love that you caught it before I even.
Like, I saw it on the prompter, and I was like,
I wasn't going to read it.
Tanya, don't
do it. Don't do it.
I'm going to go snap a picture of this really fast, because the tower cam outside doesn't really do it justice how pretty it is right now. But there we are, a live look outside of the mothership. And once again, I'll try to get a really good picture. I go see it with the naked eye. I was checking your cake, and I walked outside, and I went, oh my gosh, I got to pull this up on tower cam, just because it is stunning right now. Our planner for today, increasing cloud cover, highs still in the 60s, going to be windy all day long. Any of that rain that we do see is going to be late tonight, early tomorrow morning. Shouldn't affect our travel at all. Nation Watch next.
Topping Nation Watch this morning, nearly 4 years after the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, a civil jury has found a group of white nationalists responsible for the violence. Michael George has the latest.
We are beyond thrilled with this result for our clients today.
After 15 hours of deliberation over 3 days, a federal jury ordered the organizers of 2017's deadly Unite the Right rally to pay more than $25 million in damages to the victims.
The defendants in the case are destitute. None of them have any money.
The civil trial lasted nearly a month. The jury was deadlocked on 2 claims, but found the 24 defendants, which include white nationalists and neo-Nazis, were liable for the violence at the Charlottesville rally.
This verdict today is a message that this country does not tolerate violence based on racial and religious hatred in any form.
Hundreds of white nationalists gathered in Charlottesville to protest the removal of a Robert Lee statue, with some burning tiki torches and shouting, "Jews will not replace us." The next day, a self-proclaimed Hitler supporter drove into a crowd, killing 32-year-old Heather Heyer and injuring 19. The driver of that car is currently serving life in prison. The court is still deciding damages against 7 defendants who refused to respond to the lawsuit. Michael George, CBS News.
Well, the defendants' attorneys have put the court on notice that they would file a motion to reduce damages. That's a look at today's top national stories. Let's check back in with Michael for our Something to Talk About.
And there's a reason that I have an apron on. It's not just a casual Wednesday, but KOAM News Now Facebook page in our morning inspo. We're asking if you're excited for Thanksgiving, because today during the KOAM morning news and also over on, am I windblown, Tanya? Look like not too bad. I went outside to take a picture of the sunrise and looked in the camera. I'm like, oh my goodness. Every year, Tanya's brainchild, she gets all the credit for this each and every year. She asks us to come together as the KOAM Morning News family, which we are, and make a dish. And we're able to share that recipe with you, just in case last second you find something that looks really good. You can access those at komnewsnow.com. And our question for you this morning is, are you excited for Thanksgiving? And we've actually done a flip-flop. Now we've got 66% of you say, yeah, pretty amped up, waiting for tomorrow. And once again, you can participate each and every morning. And you know what? I'm not even going to do the normal thing that I do. What I am going to say is I'm thankful for all of you that take part in this each and every morning, because I know we've got a dedicated group of you that no matter what we ask you, and sometimes we have fun, sometimes it's a serious question, but I know there's a very dedicated group of you that take time out of your mornings to participate in our poll. And trust us, from all of us here, we'd greatly, greatly appreciate it. We'll be back, celebrate birthdays, anniversaries, and our 4-state hero right after this.
We take this time to honor today's 4-state hero. Joshua Gearing is a corporal in the United States Marines. He served in Fallujah, Iraq from March of 2004 to July of 2004, and then again from September 05 to April of 2006. A native of Parsons, Kansas, we thank you, Joshua Gearing, our 4-state hero.
That's a cool picture with him and his kid right there. Hey, Tanya, as we get started here, and I'm perusing the list really fast. So my kids are named Caitlin and Kale, and I love their names, right? I'm looking at our list here, especially our younger ones. I think these names are so great. I just think they're really cool. And Aaliyah Hazley, perfect example right there. What a marvelous name. Hey, Aaliyah, a very happy 6th birthday to you, young woman. She is in Pittsburgh.
Pretty name for a pretty little girl. And we've got Ryan Harina celebrating 7 strong this year, member of the Harina family.
How cool is that? I love Ryan's name, and I love the way it's spelled. That's awesome.
Yep, she's in Frontenac.
How about this one? Kiara Wright. Love that name. Just the names of you young people. Wow. Did I just say that? The names of you who are growing up in front of us and sharing your birthdays with us are just phenomenal. I love it. Kiara, a very happy 18th birthday. And Kiara, I want you to know that these birthday wishes come with love from Grandma.
All right, and we've got Kayla Meister turning 29 years old.
She's not 29 in that picture.
Nope, a little throwback picture there. I bet that was like a first day of school pic too.
I would love to know who got Kayla and who turned that in. That's great.
Yeah, I wonder what the story is, what's making the lady in the background laugh so much too. Kayla is from Carthage.
Tracy Baldwin is celebrating her 51st birthday. Tracy, a very happy birthday to you.
In Joplin, Roger Cornish turning
don't forget Doug.
Oh, did I skip? I'm so sorry, Doug. Doug Schlichting turning 61. Birthday was on Sunday, actually. Partying in Lamar and continuing all the way through today.
Happy birthday, Doug. Now go ahead. So you got excited because
I skipped
we got
ahead.
Roger's birthday.
There is Roger Cornish, who's 64 years old in Joplin.
Gail Alloway celebrating number 68. Gail, I want you to have a great day as he celebrates his birthday and gets ready for Thanksgiving in Parsons.
Gary Murphy turning 78 years old this year. Happy birthday, Gary, in Iola.
Our good friend Romy Phillips celebrating number 87 tomorrow. So I tell you what, you want to talk about a feast out there. You got Romy's birthday, you've got Thanksgiving, and Moundville, Missouri is going to be rocking. And Romy, I want you to know that these birthday wishes come with love from your entire family, and I hope you all are able to gather around the table with each other tomorrow.
All right. Susan Beitzinger. The little statement quote here from John makes sense now. Just trotting through life with the one I love. From John to Susan.
That does not surprise me from the Beitzinger. That's tremendous.
Happy birthday.
That is awesome. So for those of you who may know the Vits, I had the opportunity to work with Miss Vera for a while. And Don and Vera, they're not only marvelous people, but obviously they're doing something right. They're celebrating 60 years of marriage. 60 years. They're in St. Paul. This anniversary is also going to double as a Thanksgiving celebration, as it actually is tomorrow. But Don and Vera, I want you to know that these anniversary wishes come from the 60 years of you together and the 3 daughters, the 4 grandchildren, and the 5 great-grandchildren that you have helped raise. Congratulations, Fitz.
All right. Birthday list goes on.
Party in War Dog Country.
Yeah, down in Miami, Nancy Adams and Jack Crow were celebrating birthdays along with
stop there.
Harold Hale, who's 21 years old. Happy birthday from Nanny.
My goodness. A whole bunch of partying going on in Miami. Speaking of great names, how about Coral Van Biesler? I think that's a beautiful name as well. Coral, happy birthday wishes coming from Grandma. Pat and Joe Nigaman, they are celebrating an anniversary tomorrow.
Oh, you skip one.
Oh, Donica Haggerty, my bad. Speaking of tomorrow, well, Donica is celebrating a birthday tomorrow, so happy birthday to Donica in Frontenac. And while Donica is eating cake and turkey and the whole 9, the Nigaman family, Joe and Pat in Columbus, they're going to be celebrating their anniversary as well. So happy birthday to Donica and congratulations to Joe and Pat.
All right.
What?
We got Ada Hutchcraft.
May I?
Sure.
Because this truly does come from the heart. Ada Hutchcraft is one of the most dignified people that you will ever meet on the face of this earth, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you that have stuck with us through this birthday segment, I want you to know that you are not going to find a nicer, kinder, gentler human being in your life than what Ada personifies. And then I'm going to be like, Ada, how come I don't have a picture? Because I will find that out. But thank you, Tanya, for letting me grab that and wishing her a happy birthday.
Why don't you grab the next one too, because I got something to say.
It says Ada is a chaplain. It doesn't matter if Ada is a chaplain or not. I'm just telling you, as an actual human being, just the way that woman operates she's been a role model to me. I understood how to treat people after watching how Ada treats people. John and Janet Osha, they are celebrating their 59th anniversary. My goodness, we've got a 60th and a 59th. John and Janet, congratulations. They are celebrating in Duquesne. Isn't that something else? A 59th anniversary and a 60th anniversary. We're pretty lucky people around here.
Okay, so if you notice that we had a lot of birthdays on our list today who are celebrating tomorrow, it's because we're not doing our birthday segment tomorrow. Our newscast is a little bit different. We have a show at 5 a.m. and a show at 7 a.m., but our birthdays fall at 6:45, so there's national news going on during that time because of the Macy's Day Parade. And because of that, if we didn't get your Thanksgiving Day birthday on today,
or anniversary,
still send it to us and we'll get it on Friday for you. But there will be no birthdays or anniversaries tomorrow.
Thank God you've got that memorized, because folks, during the commercial break, I actually just had to ask Tanya, what's our schedule for tomorrow? Like, don't ever entrust me to do that.
I'll be holding his hand.
Okay, let's go back. Let's come back and wrap up this edition. We're having too much fun today.
Yeah,
We'll
it's time to pull the
after this.
cake out. We'll be right back.
Warm and windy as we're already in the 50s and going to make it up around 60 degrees. South wind still coming in 20 miles per hour, gusting up to 40 miles per hour. Now, as we get ready for overnight, remember, we're going to get a little rain, followed by a cold front. Here's a look at our precipitation according to Future Track as it comes in. Probably about, say we get started about 8, and nothing severe. Not a whole lot of hard rain either. And we're done. Look at that. We're done Thursday morning, 6 a.m. Going to be colder behind it, though, as our temperatures are going to drop down. Oh, excuse me. Our temperatures are going to drop down to the 40s for Thanksgiving Day. Nice little rebound. If you are Black Friday shopping, remember, Thursday night into Friday, as Tanya and I are trying to figure out what time everybody even opens. But, yeah, I mean, even if you're, like you said, 5 a.m., even if you're going to be out at 5 a.m., we'll probably still be below the freezing mark. So, but yeah, bundle up is my point.
Right. Well, coming up today at noon, I'm excited about this one. We're making a caramel peanut pumpkin pie in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Does not compare to what you made. What did you make?
Butterscotch pumpkin cake.
Okay, so here's the deal. Butterscotch pumpkin cake, because this is Tanya's brainchild. She has us bring a recipe so we can enjoy a wonderful meal here with the KOM Morning Show family, because essentially that is what we are, folks. I just took it out of the oven. It looks marvelous. Howard's got nothing on you. Hey, I want everybody to do a favor. If we don't see you tomorrow, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for joining us. Be safe. We will do this all again tomorrow morning.
And if you want to see the rest of our recipes, including that cake, switch on over with us on Fox 14.